Whether or not, the global guide to the meteorological mingle. Let's get to it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Culture Connection Conversations, where we bring you relatable stories of diversity.
Hi, I am Filomena, based in the Netherlands.
And I am Claudia from Luxembourg.
I'm a change and cultural trainer working with both individuals and teams to improve productivity and work happiness.
Yes, and I am a coach helping professionals, corporate leaders, as well as their teams uncover the roots of their challenges and custom craft solutions to help them thrive.
Well, you call us when there's friction, results are going down, or you're struggling.
No, let's get started. So, Philomen, today let's talk about the weather. Take it away.
Well, thank you for that, Claudia. I have to say, this subject came up rather spontaneously, right? We agreed upon this this morning, and I'll tell you why. It's raining cats and dogs again in the Netherlands, I'm pretty sure, like me, most of the people are fed up with it by now. And it made me realize that in the Netherlands, the weather is a small talk opener, an opener of conversations. Because whomever I meet, irrelevant if I'm in a shop or at the beginning of a professional meeting or when meeting up with friends, we spend in general, say somewhere in the lines between 2 and 10 minutes talking about the weather. And it helps us to create a connection when you've never met before, or to open conversation when you don't really know where the conversation is going to lead you, or even suppliers dropping off packages complaining about weather. And the complaining aspect, Claudia, is imperative in the Netherlands. We complain a lot, I have to say. We are never happy. When it's hot, it's too hot. When it's raining too long, right? So weather is a big topic in the Netherlands. I don't know about other countries, but I did notice that whenever I met people from Asia, in general, it's not a topic at all. And I have encountered people that looked at me in amazement whenever I brought up the topic, the weather, so to say. And even people in France looked at me in amazement because the weather is just what it is, right? You kind of accept it. It's not worth the conversation, and it's certainly not an opening for a conversation in general. So that made me realize that in that respect, I'm also, pretty Dutch, using it as an opener for conversation. So I was wondering, how does this work, for example, in Luxembourg? Do you talk about the weather as an opener for conversation?
Yes, I think we do. I think it varies, but if you see that the person that you're talking to is not really responsive about the topic, you move on to something else. Actually, I attended an HR conference in Luxembourg City about 2 weeks ago, and there were people outside of the doors having a cigarette and having a good chat and things like that. And I walked right in and I said, "Isn't it a gorgeous day today? So glad that you could come out and enjoy it." And we took it from there. So very naturally, because it was the setting that we were in. I mean, I think for me, I'm perfectly fine to open as well with that. You're right that it's not the same in all cultures, but again, like you can do what you do, and then if you kind of like get the sense that there's no interest or reciprocity in the communication when you talk to somebody, then it's all right. And I also noticed, however, I lived in America a long time, as you know, Philomen, and
Mhm.
there were areas that were still very agricultural, where there was a large contingent of farmers and ranchers, and there the weather topic was sometimes too charged. Like you didn't really talk about it because your crops were dying because there was no water, you wouldn't start talking to a stranger about the weather because it touched very much on your livelihood and things like that. That was too close to home. So
Well, yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that you need to be a little bit aware. I think you do what you do. Maybe you do not know the local customs. Is it a non-opener? Is it too charged an opener, or is it just something that's perfectly acceptable? The reaction of the people you talk to is going to tell you.
That is absolutely true. You notice within, say,
Okay.
10 seconds. And agree with you, Claudia, that it has to do with your personal life, right? When you live, for example, in the countryside, it's a different story. And when your profession is, like you say, your influence, your work is influenced by the weather. Wow, it's everyday life element, right? Vital. And also, I think it's cultural, right? Me traveling through Norway, for example, I think in general Norwegians tend to be very much aware of the environment in general. Good for them, kudos for them. But also the weather. But the difference is that for me, between the Dutch and the Norwegian people in general, is that they are aware, but they do not complain.
Mhm.
Whereas
Right.
complaining is a vital element. In the Netherlands, it's also, sometimes a way of getting attention or just expressing emotions. So yes, it is cultural, but it's also personal, right? So culture is personality as well.
Right.
And it's really interesting. For example, when you go to Asia and you spend your days inside, so not in the outdoors, but inside, you're less aware. It happened to me, right? Working like between 12 and 13 hours a day, I was not that aware of the weather in general because, I hopped into my car or I hopped into the metro and just entered this big building, air conditioning all over the place. So you just didn't know, right?
Right.
Um, and at night, when I came out, say somewhere between 7 and 8, I thought, oh yeah, that's true. It's summer and it's been a really, really hot day. Of course, you realize unconsciously or when you look outside. But still, it's a whole different story. So, I find it really, really interesting. And I would love to hear about our listeners, how they feel about talking about the weather. Is it a topic to you or is it not? Or does it maybe annoy you when the Dutchies in general start talking about the weather again? I'd love to hear their experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And let us also know in your country or your culture group, what's the cultural norm about opening maybe with the weather or bringing it up as a small topic. So that would be really really interesting. We would learn a lot from it. So people can do that by posting a comment to this video. Otherwise too, if you thank you for listening up to now, and if you do want to show us some love, please subscribe to the channel, click like, and otherwise engage with the content. We are also available to you if you have questions or suggestions. Our contact information is included in the show notes alongside this video. Fantastic. So that is today's experience with culture. I hope you enjoyed, and we will be back very soon with more. Thank you so much, Philomene. This was fun.
This was fun. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you
Yeah,
all.
bye bye.
Bye.